Kappen, what I want to tell you, first of all, is that he was a very close friend of mine. I used to say very often that among the Jesuits of Kerala, I was the one who was closest to him as a friend. So I know some aspects of his personality that probably not many people knew. Probably his very close, intimate friends would know. And I want to speak about that aspect of Kappen. Kappen, the man that he was. The President told us just now that he was a very different sort of a man. Very distinct kind of a man. A very unusual kind of a man. He was an extraordinary person. Fine, that's correct. And yet, I want to say the other side of Father Kappen. He was very much like us. He was a very human person. We all know Kappen, the great thinker, the creative thinker, Kappen, the daring thinker, Kappen, the philosopher, Kappen, the theologian, Kappen, the great writer. We know that aspect of his personality very well. But very few know how simple he was, how human he was. And I want to give you a fleeting touch of some of my experiences with him. I am speaking of the year 1972 or 73, I am not too sure now. I was in Calicut at that time. Father Kappen was appointed to the university center in Calicut. We Jesuits had a small center in Calicut University campus area. It was a wilderness. There was just one octagonal structure, funny structure, built, I think, according to British style. Quite a funny structure. Within this octagonal structure, there was room enough for one space to be used as Sunday Mass or Sunday Mass. The other was Kappen's room, living room, his kitchen, everything. And every Friday evening, I used to go from Calicut to the university center and spend the Saturday and Sunday with him. That is how my intimate and close association with him began. And there I have seen a Kappen that is so different from the picture that most people have about him. This was the Kappen with whom I used to sit, in admiring wonder at the way he used to reflect and study, the simplicity of his life there. And then, after sitting and chatting for a long, long time at night, we would go to bed on the ground. We didn't have anything else. He had some fire and things like that. So he would offer me something, and he himself would stretch himself on some mat or other. We used to sleep. And then Kappen used to get up very early. I would say somewhere around 4:30 he would get up. I would be fast asleep. And then Kappen is senior to me by at least 5-6 years. I don't expect him to serve me. I would rather expect myself to serve him as a senior colleague of mine. But what happened was he would get up and immediately make some coffee for me, for himself and for me, all by himself, prepare it and keep it ready for me till I get up. And when I wake up, I would just lie down on the mat and shout from the next room, which was where the chapel was. I used to sleep there, and shout from there, "Doc, coffee." Doc was my title for him. Doctor. I used to say that Kappen is the only worthwhile Jesuit doctor. The Society of Jesus has produced only one worthwhile PhD, which was Father Kappen. I used to say that, and in a kind of slightly admiring tone, I used to call him simply Doc. I always called him Doc. That is my personal kind of sobriquet for this man. And he would make this coffee and then bring it to where I am sitting. I'm just up and sitting there, and Father Kappen used to bring this black coffee to me yet that picture still lingers in my mind. Then I will start taking coffee and then go to his room and sit there and begin chatting. And a lot about the art of thinking about life. I don't say the whole of it, but the initial part of the art of thinking about anything, I must say I learned from him. We used to go together for many programs, Kappen and myself. And then in a program, after every session that Kappen gives, Kappen and myself would just walk out for a brief time while there's a 10-minute or 15-minute recess. And then we would talk about that session. And then I would ask Kappen, certain questions of my own. And often I used to ask, Doc, how is it that you think about a subject? What is the way you think about it? Then he used to explain to me how he thought about the development of a theme. And he said, conceptually, sometimes he used to have graphic pictures in his mind of the problem being, narrated, being explained, exposed, and as he comes to a certain level of explanation, one branches off to one side. Then when you reflect on that branch theme, how you have to come back to the root and then proceed. Otherwise, the link between the various concepts will not come out proper. This kind of technique of thinking he used to share with me. I have quite a number of memories of Kappen where I have seen Kappen, the man like us, like you and me. It is true that there was a dimension in him where he was quite unlike us. He was quite cut above all of us. And yet, there were many dimensions in his personality in which he was extremely like us. And that's why, to me, Kappen is so attractive a personality. And he was an extremely cynical genius, satirical genius, which probably not many people know. The kind of jokes he used to crack, and we too used to sit and, laugh endlessly. He used to crack jokes mostly about the church personalities, about the Society of Jesus, about our own, ineptitude, our own failures, our own stupidity. We Jesuits are supposed to be, I don't know what it is, catch whistlers on things, but how idiotic we can be. He used to have all kinds of funny asides to give, funny jokes. And it is at those moments that I have felt how human Father Kappen was. Once I remember he wrote an article, not an article, a response to a very serious problem that was arising in his life vis-a-vis the church authorities. And he gave me the draft. And I saw that there was this relentless Kappen logic in the whole article. And yet I saw at certain moments he is getting angry and expressing himself too sharply, too aggressively. And then I would want it to be toned down. And I felt all the freedom to tone down whatever he wrote. And in the matter of English, he would accept some of my language nicety he used to. And so I will just take off some of these sharp statements. And if I take off, he won't complain. But I remember one day he said, well, Dominic, this is not my article, it is yours. There is nothing of me in it now. Because those sharp things that he took, it was certainly a touch of Kappen in it. And yet, as a friend, I thought, no, I used to tell him, Doc, I don't want that image about you. And so I understand why you are getting so angry sometimes. But when you express it publicly, let us be mild. Then he will tamely, all right. This kind of Kappen, the ordinary man that he was, the highly sensitive personality that he was, Kappen, the human, it is that Kappen that I would like to remember today, and it is with that Kappen that I feel a great rapport and sensitivity and closeness. I don't know what else I want to share. I don't think I should share the more intellectual dimension of his personality. There will be many others. So, while you hear about his great intellectual achievements, keep remembering Kappen, the ordinary man. The man who close to people. The Kappen who enjoyed deep friendships. Kappen who felt disappointed when friends didn't respond seriously to life. Kappen who was so critical of the church. Kappen who has done tremendous service to the church which he criticized. Not only the church, but church and society and all ideologies that he criticized. I think he has done his service to all of them. But that is the Kappen, the unusual man. But the Kappen I would like to remember is Kappen, the ordinary man. Kappen, the man like you and me.